There we are.
Here we are, and I'm no longer psychedelic.
Yeah, what was going on there?
I am thinking I was working on some recordings, audiobook type things, and I had to switch out microphones because I'm using the professional mic for that. And I have and you know what? That mic, I have to turn off my diffuser. I have to turn off the AC because it picks up the background noise.
Oh, it
So I have to figure out the
yeah,
settings for that.
I was gonna say that it should have um, a directional thing on it. Because like, this one that I'm using
Hmm.
is a directional mic,
Oh,
so I have to talk into it for it to hear me.
oh,
Um,
it's
so, like,
this.
I forgot one time I turned on my washing machine and forgot I had a class. So I sat down and I was doing the class and I'm listening to the thing in the background going, oh no. And, but when I listened to the recording, couldn't hear it. So that's your fancy mic, huh?
Yes, I'm actually borrowing it to test it out. But I had some commercials that I'm doing, so I needed to make some demos for that. So yay!
Yeah, get a directional mic because it gets rid of all the background sound.
Oh, okay, that's good to know
It,
because when you're in the know, you can go. I don't know. How about that? Yes, I do. I
it'll
just found
work.
out from Gwen.
It works. It works. Yeah. Directional mic gets rid of all the stuff. Yeah, because that was the thing too. I have when my air conditioner kicks on, you could hear it blow and, you know, all kinds there's,
Yeah,
when you
it's
live in a
just
condo, you hear all kinds of noises.
in the background, and I'm like, I guess I've gotten used to my diffuser. Like it does have a sound. It's air spewing oils into the atmosphere. But when like can you hear my AC kick on now? No. Okay. Cuz it was not fun trying to do this cuz when I'm working, you kind of build up the energy anyway and you're like after two or three takes, you're like, okay, I got to take a break and go turn the air back on.
Yeah, I don't know if, mics, if they're maybe real expensive mics can go either way, but I know the one I bought, I was specific to being a directional mic because I that's what I was gonna be using it for. I was gonna be using it for speaking into it. The other ones are good if you're setting it, like, on a table and a group of people have to talk.
Okay, no. Well,
Omni-channel or I don't know what
I don't
now I'm talking
well, I
nothing.
don't know that I have enough people in my house I should do that. I did have people over for a dining experience, like food frequencies, essential oils, and I forgot how much fun that was to have people in the house,
Aw.
and just enjoying all that camaraderie versus how much fun it is to just be alone.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and a lot of us who work from home or the type of work they do, they do. They're alone. In fact, I was listening to some podcaster types and they were commenting, they were like, you know, it's really nice when people comment. And you know what? These are archived on YouTube. So feel free to comment if you love it.
Yes.
Give us a thumbs up. But yeah, they were saying, the one guy was talking about how he felt like his everything was kind of in a slump, he said, but when he went back and he was reading the comments that people had written, it really made him feel better, and, he was like, "Ah, okay, I'm on track. I'm good."
Yeah, yeah, and I actually have had a few days to myself. Mike had a couple of appointments on the East Coast because um, we still go back and forth sometimes because the the medical care that we had over there. You have a rapport for 40 years, So just doing some things like that, and so I actually was able to spend the last few days really doing the self-care that I tell everybody else about. And it's just been so fun. And the days, like I'll still work, but in between times, I will put on the YouTube channel and I'll just put it on my videos. And then all the funny Fridays come up and all of my videos come up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really good. There's laughter, there's healing, there's sarcasm. Uh, what else does a girl need? But getting all the things in and taking a bath and just things that normally it's like I don't necessarily I advise others to do it, but then I'm like, wow, okay, if I really take my own advice, I
Right?
am having a great week.
Well, you do look very energized, to say the
Uh,
least.
well, I've been working on that new program with tapping in the light and I'm so excited for it to come out. And I hope I can like, "Psst, Gwen, do you want to hop on and let me experiment with this tapping
Yeah, yeah, you can. Just remember, I'll be heading out, next week and gone for a
off into
couple
the
weeks.
wild blue yonder? Tell me about your adventures.
Well, it's funny you should ask. So I'm sending out in my weekly email that I send out to the people who follow me on Insights and Illuminations, and I was writing in there about, I was writing about how I was looking forward to the trip and everything. And then I realized I was like, that is so important when you have something you want to experience, that you focus on the positive and that that it's a safe trip. I'm going to see lots of people. We're going to have lots of fun, this, that, the other, right? And because it's easy to get caught up in other people's stuff of what they think. And so I finished, and it wasn't much longer after that. Somebody sent me a text saying, so, because I'm going to one of my stops is Michigan, right? And they wrote, well, how's the air quality in Michigan? And I was like, the air quality? Michigan's pretty clean air. Like, and I had seen on Facebook somebody else commented on the air quality. And I'm like, what's with this air quality? So I do a quick search because I don't spend my time on news channels. I just don't. And I was like, oh, Canada's on fire. And I'm like looking at, I'm like the whole flipping country's on fire. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Canada, what, you got a firebug going? I mean, yeah, you hear about California's fires. They get a string of them. And we do here in Naples too. We go through that dry season and we'll have a bunch of fires show up. But Canada's huge. And there's like fires across the whole flipping country. I'm like, that's insane. I guess it's been a while since they've had that, like 30 years since they've had that many fires. But I'm like, that's nuts. So then I'm like, okay, you got that many fires. Michigan's like wrapped, it's like Canada like wraps it like a blanket, right? So I'm like, well, the fires would have to be far north. They can't possibly be affecting, you know, the lower part of Michigan. And so I'm looking and I'm like, it goes all the way down to Ohio. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's where I'm going to. I was like, I'm like looking at it going, oh, and I'm laughing at the irony of having just done that email, right? So I stopped and I was just like, you know what? It's a week away. Lots of things can happen in a week. I can make this work. For those who listen, I do have, I am sensitive to breathing things like smoke, so I have to be mindful of it. So, but I'm like, you know what? Because it might knee jerk response to it, which I was talking about in the newsletter, um, my knee-jerk response was, "Oh, no. Am I not gonna be able to take my trip after all?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute." It's a week away, you know, when we have
I know people
fires.
who were affected by it, and it has already passed them by. I have some friends, even New York and Upper New York, and even living in the city, and they're not affected now. They did have where they were like really warned to stay indoors and things like
Yeah,
that.
that's what Michigan
But
last night, Michigan was out.
we'll
Yeah.
blow that north wind north.
Yeah, blow it over to the UK. I hear Europe is starting to feel effects from it, so,
Well,
but
let's just send it someplace where it can do some good. What needs smudging the most?
yeah, so like I said, I just was like, "No, no, no. We got plenty of time. It's all good." When we
Yeah.
get fires down here, you just stay indoors, and, drive with when you're driving your car, you make sure that the vents are closed,
Yeah.
it circulates the inside. It's the same thing. I'm like, if I have to, I'll call, and it's outdoor wedding, right?
Okay, so that's the
I'm like,
wedding that you're going to. Okay.
yeah, outdoor wedding, and I'm like, we'll just play it by ear, and then up to Michigan, I'm like, we'll just play it by ear, you know?
To a wedding. Yeah.
I might have to have
Well,
my
and
friends
there's the
close
thing
their doors and turn on their air
for
conditioning.
really good weather too, because that was when we had Krista's wedding. The ceremony was outdoors. And didn't you know that it was one of the most torrential, never ever rains in February, but that particular day, only day it rained in February, and it poured the night before, and it poured right up until the ceremony. Half an hour, 20 minutes before the ceremony, not a drop of rain. But we had to move location because where they had originally chosen, they were like, that's muddy now. So,
Oh,
but we got it even more beautiful with like an expanse of the lake behind
it
them.
yeah.
And it all works. It all
It
works.
always it always does. It
Yes.
does. It
And it was,
always
it
works.
was, it was amazing because 2 hours after the ceremony, when things moved back indoors, did it pour? Heck yes. And I was like, oh, thank you, guys, guardian spirits, God, all the angels, Her wedding
Yeah.
dress did not get soaked.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
How is the weather in Ohio in the summer typically? Is it,
It's a lot like Michigan's, because it's at Midwest.
oh, the Midwest? Because I lived
In
in
July, so
Pennsylvania, but it not that far west.
yeah, unless you have some anomaly type weather, usually it's, 80s. It's still
Oh,
getting
that's
warm.
nice.
August,
Yeah.
if it's gonna get hot, it's usually in August.
Nice.
August gets hot and humid. That's where they start hitting the 90 and 100-degree weather, and it can get kind of brutal. But, it's summertime, so it'll be warm,
That'd
80s,
be
90s
nice. So,
probably.
are you driving yourself?
Mhm. Yes, I am. I'm going and that was the thing. I was like, I'm just gonna have some me time and just kinda enjoy, stopping when I wanna stop, and this type of thing. So, yeah, yeah.
I love that. That used to be my funnest thing to do, would be to take a road trip and go visit people and just like stop when you want to stop, go when you want to go. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Shelby tried to say, "Oh, well, if you're leaving on like, I'm leaving Wednesday." He's like, "Oh, well, then 24 hours. You should be able to pick me and Misty up at the airport Thursday." I'm like, No, don't be counting on that."
Right.
That is not my driving mission, is to make sure I'm there by the time you get off the airplane. I'm like, "No, if I get there Thursday or I get there Friday, I have to definitely be there by Friday, but, I've allowed for that extra time if I need it to
Who
get
doesn't need
there.
to see the world's largest ball of string?
That
That's on the way.
the Smoky Mountains might be smokier than usual.
Oh, well, and those overlooks are absolutely gorgeous when you pull off.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
I
And
know.
just such a different view from Florida because
Yeah.
we go over a high bridge and we're like,
Well,
"Oh."
that was the thing. It's been a while, it's really been a while, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna be driving through the mountains by myself. Hmm. Well,
Mm.
we'll just make sure we time that for daylight hours."
Yes, yes. One of the things I remember a lot was, because we took a lot of road trips like that, both as a kid and in college and stuff, is those I had to explain to somebody what those runoffs were
Oh, yeah,
coming
the
down the
trucks.
mountain.
Yeah.
I'm like, they are safety things, not only for yourself if you would need it, but for those huge trucks
Yeah,
because they were like, "What are
the
those?"
brakes fail. Yeah, the brakes fail.
Yep.
Yeah, and when you're out west in those really big mountains, those
Mm.
runoffs are a little bit bigger, and they have, like, a big wall at the end of them. And it's really deep gravel. They're a little more, um, they're like on
Substantial.
yeah, yeah, they're a little more substantial is a good way to
Well,
put it.
those mountains are a little bit taller, I will admit, yes. But, oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so wonderful and so refreshing. I'm so happy for you. I'm gonna live
Thanks.
vicariously through you. Send me pictures.
Hey, I got together for lunch with, a friend, Sandra, I don't know, Sandra, right? So
McGill,
Miguel, yeah,
of course.
she's so sweet. So we
Yeah.
got together for lunch, and she
Oh,
gave me a bubble wand. It's so cute. It's like you've seen those bubble wands, right? But it's a long, skinny one, so it's very compact, and it's probably a good foot long. So it's a nice sized bubble wand, and she gave it to me. I was like, I love bubbles. She's like, I know. She goes, I bought, a pack of them and I've been giving them out to my friends. She goes, no kids, only adults. And
we
I was
needed
like,
more.
I said, this is going to be the bubble tour. Like maybe I'm going to see if I can do this, because it's kind of tricky because it's going to rely on me. But I'm thinking when I stop at different places, I'm gonna see if I can't take bubble pictures, do some bubbles, take some pictures.
Oh, I think that's a
Just
fabulous
for
idea.
fun,
Oh, yeah, wave it around and take it and go over the mountain, you
we'll
know?
see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I love that. I did see wow, that's so funny that you would mention it because I saw somebody that made their bubble thing, but it was several of them, like, on a rope, and then when they did it, oh my
Oh,
word, I was like, "Wow."
yeah, yeah,
Doesn't love bubbles. Oh my gosh.
right. They're like
They're
balloons.
iridescent and they're like you can chase them around. Don't chase them over the cliff. That is my one piece of advice. Do not chase the bubbles over the
I
cliff.
I won't chase the bubbles. I'll just
Okay.
take pictures of the bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
we'll see. We'll
okay.
see how it goes.
I love that. I think that'll be so much fun. And
Yeah, at first I was thinking I would get pictures of me with the bubbles, but that as we're talking, I'm like, "No, no, I could do pictures of the bubbles.
the
I don't have to
bubbles
get
and the
crazy."
landscapes through the bubble. Oh my gosh.
Look at
Yeah.
you. Look at
Oh,
you.
get that
My
get
chor
that
my
Zoom going.
choreographer.
That's right. You know what? But feel free to improvise, okay? Because
But
it
yeah,
is a
I'm gonna play with it.
vacation.
Yeah, I'm gonna play with it. I'll see what happens. But yeah, that was fun. I was like, "Aw,
Oh,
that's
that
like
is
such
sweet.
a
Oh
fun
my
little gift,"
gosh.
you know?
Yeah, I miss Sandra. It's been wow, I think since we were meeting locally at like Fem City.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I because that kind of ended right when COVID began.
Okay. Yeah, we've since COVID, her and I have connected up and, we do lunches periodically,
Oh, that's
and
so
now, my condo is like I'm like not even a half mile from her. We're
Oh,
like
are you
we're
gonna
like
be there
across
where the I meant to
we're like
ask you
across
that.
the
How
street.
far are you away from that sports complex by 75? That's where they're doing the fireworks. Oh, but you won't be here.
I'll be here f Are they doing it 4th of July?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tuesday, so
Oh,
yeah, I'll
that's
be there.
Tuesday. I don't know why I thought it was
They're having
Wednesday.
the fireworks at the sports complex?
Yes, because they canceled them at the pier because the beach is not ready to handle that capacity of
Oh,
people.
the beach is still rough. Because they'd opened the beaches, so I thought the beaches
Right.
were ready, but
But not enough, like, with the walkways and all the construction and and I think
yeah.
also, because I don't know if you saw Memorial Day, we drove up to Bonita Beach Road and wanted to see and thought, "We'll stop there, we'll stop at the dog beach, let Tarzan walk a little, and go up and maybe look." We had a friend that had a house up there, and
Uh-huh,
maybe be able to oh my word, no, there was so much construction still going
really.
on.
Well,
The
they're still
police
trying to
force
bring
is
in
out because all the construction equipment, they don't want people parking where things are getting
are
constructed
they
or
still bringing
making
the
stuff.
I'm sorry, are they still bringing in the sand? Because I heard
Oh,
that
I
in
don't know.
Naples, on the Naples beach, they've been trucking in sand because they're building a big berm in lieu of a wall 'cause they wanna try and be proactive about flooding, you know, um,
So let's let it
so
flood all the streets and then it can't run off into the ocean. Oh, no, just kidding.
they would?
Then it can't run off into the ocean because it'll hit that berm.
No, it's so that the ocean doesn't come into
I
the
know, but
city,
I'm thinking every time we think we're gonna outsmart Mother Nature,
right?
I mean, come on, we see it. I mean, one of the
Right,
reasons we moved from Miami was that even though we weren't in a flood zone, if they didn't handle the canals just right, you flooded anyway
right.
because
Yes,
we're in a swamp.
yeah, right. Well, they're supposedly putting in a berm
Okay.
along the certain key places. Well, obviously, all those, Royal Harbor with the big multi-million dollar homes on it. There and you've got like the Ritz-Carlton and stuff. They're not gonna put a berm in front of those
Well, they are
because
working in front of those because my friend that was visiting from Switzerland, she went out to Vanderbilt Beach almost every day and just she said only a small portion is open. Sorry, I don't know if you can see my and that they're working on both sides, trucking sand and all kinds of stuff. And that
yeah, so
yeah,
I haven't really seen exactly, where they're putting it, but I know that there's certain people that are gonna be like, "No, I don't wanna look at a wall of sand from my front." So, I'm sure that there's areas that won't get a berm,
well,
but,
we don't have the dunes like we do up north, and you can plant them with seagrasses and make it absolutely beautiful. I mean,
oh, yeah.
it's just a fact
Well,
of life along the East
right,
Coast. When I grew up, is that you couldn't walk on the dunes. You were not supposed to because that's the integrity of the
right,
beach for when there was a northeasterner.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're trying to come up with some ideas short of putting up a wall because 'cause they're throwing around wall ideas down by Seagate, the Seagate area. There'd be 2 walls what is that? Fisherman's Pass? But the wall would come down the beach to Fisherman's Pass, and then it would stop, and then, Fisherman's Pass would be the in and out for the water, but it would help to try to keep that area, I guess, going. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. All I know is they've been trucking in sand
Well, and
and
they're not having the fireworks. This is the first
I
year they're
forgot they were doing that, and I'm like,
so
"Yeah,
that's where they
that's
chose, and I do believe that's kind of near you, right?
yeah, it's
Um,
75 in Collier.
yeah, I looked at it on a map and I was like, "Oh, that's not that far from
Is
us."
it is it that big
20
complex they built that nobody goes to?
yeah, and it looks huge. I have no idea. I've never been to it, but it's like
That's because
they thought
nobody goes to it.
they're doing a lot of stuff though. They're opening early and there'll be amusements and food
Oh,
and
we'll have to check it
whatnot.
out.
and then the fireworks at 9. I think they're doing a movie for the kids. Like,
Oh,
so it's
okay.
going to be a big thing, and you can either have seating where they have grass, I guess, as well,
Hmm.
that you can bring your own chairs and blankets.
Oh, might have to check that out. Yeah, because I've missed going to the beach for the fireworks. I there hasn't been fireworks on the beach since COVID started.
Right.
If I mean, maybe one snuck in there, but overall, I
No,
think there was one. I think they might have on New Year's Eve this past. No, 2 years ago on New Year's, they might have. I can't remember, but I know I haven't since COVID,
I
and
haven't either.
I think by the time it was open and ready to be done, Ian came through and
We
decimated
went
that whole
we
thing.
went New Year's Eve down there, New Year's Eve for in 2020, I think, for the fireworks on New Year's Eve. And oh my gosh, I said, I wouldn't mind doing it and seeing it from a boat next time, because you literally, to get in and out, you get funneled into those tiny walkways. And then when people leave to use the restroom, and if they've been nibbed a few times, I did have somebody stumble over our blankets trying to make it to their chairs. And I was just like, huh, this is,
Yeah,
yeah,
we would
I'd
do
rather
4th
be a
of Ju
little far removed next time.
yeah, we like 4th of July and New Year's, we'd do both of them. We would go down a little further, down from north of the pier. Say down, but it's north of the pier. Um, there's a church we always park at that we always manage to get a spot, and it's like a couple of streets out from the beach, so it's a quick walk. And yeah, it's a good location. You're not caught up. You're not too close to the pier, and you're not too close to a lot of the people, but there's still a lot of people. But it seems a little less congested there. And you know what? We just always pack knowing that it's going to take a little while for everybody to funnel off the beach. So we just plan ahead that that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out.
Well,
And people funnel out pretty quick. They
we were
funnel out pretty,
novices, and we thought,
yeah.
oh, we'll go when we come out, we'll go down Fifth Avenue and find some place to have a little bite to eat and a drink or something. And oh my gosh, we ended up getting in the car and driving further out, because there was waiting lists and waiting lines,
You
and
were the novice, weren't you?
I was like,
You were the
"Oh, I
novice.
could come in for a drink for $175. Okay."
Yeah, right?
That
Yeah,
is
so, what you do is, if you go in, you just plan to you hang out for a little bit, let the people funnel off the beach, and then when you get in your car, you do what's counterintuitive, which is
okay.
everybody shoots for 41 to get out, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, make a mad dash for 41," but if you don't get on it, if you take that road, and I always forget what the name of it, but there's a road that runs right next to it's that one street that runs along the beach.
Oh, yes, I do know.
You cut over to that, and you just take that out.
I'm not
There
naming it because I don't want anybody that's hearing this to know what that street is.
it's the street closest to the beach. So you cut over and you just ride that bad boy as long as you can. And people, I've had people go, but it's like 25 miles an hour. I'm like, yeah, or you could sit for 45 minutes in that congestion of everybody waiting at lights trying, and they're notorious long
Absolutely.
lights.
No,
So
I love
it
all
takes
the traffic.
forever to get off. So yeah, so you just take that road and you just go for as long as you can. I think it gets up to Neapolitan Way or something. Then you cut over and then it's smooth sailing. It's like if you
Well,
wait just a few minutes on the beach, you
okay.
save yourself like an hour.
We'll cut up that way, and then we'll cut up and we'll actually go across 41 and hit Goodlet Frank. And then, oh, did I name that out loud?
Giving away all your trade secrets.
Or as Google says, good alert.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
that's the name of it. Good alert. Good alert, Frank.
I remember people when they moved on. Why do all the streets have two names? What, you have a problem with that? You have a problem with 2 names?
Uh,
Airport Pulling and Goodlet Frank.
they are laid out pretty well, like north and south, east and west, because for that part, because I remember like there's not so many places here, but over in Miami, you've got places like Hialeah or Coral Gables where um, a canal intersects, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, where I want to go is over there.
Oh, that's the estates. Yeah, when you get out into the estates, it's like, "Hmm, which one of these roads
There's
goes all the
only
way
two
through?"
ways to go. Only.
But it's like, which ones go all the way through it? I remember, like, we lived on 19th Street Southwest, and you'd go, and there'd be a canal with no bridge, so there'd be a canal, and you're like, "Dang, I need to be on the other
Starts at
side of
25th
this."
Street. You
It's
go
like
through to White Boulevard from 25th Street going east, but going west, it's only 10th. And then I don't think there's another street that goes through until you get up to the state park. Um,
right?
yeah, we found that out because of the fires, where they were like,
Which ones go through?
which ones
Yeah.
went through. And when now they're doing that Vanderbilt extension. Oh my word! When you drive by there, it's like they clear cut
Which one? The one going
from Collier
east?
east.
East.
There was a short stretch of road, and none of it. Only the first street would go through, come over to Goodlet. I mean, to
Yeah, I
Golden
guess that
Gate.
would be the only way you'd extend. I was thinking Livingston, and then I was like, yeah, it can only go Vanderbilt can only go east
Right,
because it
right.
runs from the Gulf
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So,
Going west, you'd be running into that new sandbar.
yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. So, yeah, I have not been on it. I saw that they're extending it.
It's not
Um,
open yet.
no.
They've been clear cutting, and they've got all the pre-work to do, I guess. Yeah. And I think
But
that
it's
maybe
way
it was
down
put
there,
off
isn't
a
it?
little bit. What?
The extension's way down there because it's past. Because 'cause I'm trying to remember because it goes, Vanderbilt went out for a little ways anyway.
But it went into like one lane, a dirt lane, and it ended. It didn't really go that far, and there was no way to get across to anywhere else.
Isn't there an air I thought there was a, golf course there.
Yeah, but that was on the north side, and there was a development there, is probably still, but there was no way to get anywhere else. You couldn't.
Right,
It
right.
was it was kind of like Golden Gate, where
That
you're
golf
on
course
it and you are stuck if something happens.
the golf course there is for the rich and famous. It's the golf course that nobody knows the name, nobody can get into. It's like ultra private exclusive. I don't know if it's changed recently, but yeah, that golf course.
Oh, that's probably
It's
just screaming for kids to go and run around on it at night.
well, there's nothing out there, so I don't think any kids get on it, but I think I don't know if they could get on there because it's like I said, it's, like where
It's bald.
celebrity types go. The
And I was not
people
invited
who
yet?
people who
Hold
don't
on.
people don't
Don't
wanna
you
be
know my name?
the people who don't wanna be mobbed.
Uh,
People who I'm gonna make a bad reference to the Sussex family. The, um, we want our privacy people, but they go everywhere publicly. Markle
oh
the
my good.
Markles the Markles.
Oh, the Markles. Yes. I'm not a big follower, but
Yeah, it caught my attention recently, and I guess there was I don't watch South Park, but South Park does have its moments where it makes, s
relevant fun of something.
there yeah, those are good words. I need to have you follow me around so you can finish my sentences for me. Um, So, yeah, they did one on them.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look it up because their irreverence actually appeals to me most of the
Was
time, not all the time.
hysterical, hysterical. It was hysterical. I've only seen clips. I haven't seen the whole thing in full, but I've seen the clips. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." This is what caught my attention. This is what caught my attention. So, what got my attention was that they were offered through Spotify for the podcast, they were offered $20 million to do 20 episodes. Okay, that's all. 20 episodes, $1 million a crack in 1920 or 2020. In 2020, it's now 2023. I think she's kicked out like 3 or 4 because it's so hard. Takes up too much time. It's this, it's that. I'm like, if I was getting paid $1 million to do a talk. And so what caught my attention was that the different people talking about it were saying how Spotify ended up dropping them. One, because she didn't fulfill it, and two, because she faked them. She had staffers go out and do interviews, and then they dubbed in her questions later.
Was a
So that
Milli
it was
Vanilli?
so like
For
so like
anybody who doesn't know that reference, look it up.
So yeah, so I guess what she did is she did sat down like and recorded herself asking questions, and then they spliced it into these interviews that were done with staffers. It's Tamara. Hi,
Hi,
Tamara,
Tamara.
sweetie. So yeah, so
Aw.
she faked faked them, and it gets better because her whole gist was supposed to be that, they were going to talk to the people who didn't have voices. So they read her and her husband reached out to the Pope. What's that guy over there in in Russia? And then,
Russia?
um,
Putin
Putin. Yes, they wanted to interview
doesn't have
Putin,
a voice?
Pope, the Pope. Um, what's that one girl that's real
Is he
famous?
Catholic?
Singer,
Oh, just kidding.
famous
That's a joke.
some very famous female singing artists, and they got turned down by everybody. Nobody wanted to talk to them. And and then everybody's kinda like, "But wait a minute, those are the underserved, don't have voice people? I don't get it." But then they couldn't even get them on there, and she couldn't be bothered anyway, so
Huh. I had
so
no clue. That's interesting. I don't
they've
really
been
follow
called
that, so
they they've been publicly called grafters. Grifters,
grafters or
grifters,
grifters?
grifters, grifters, grafters, grifters. Gee,
Some of the most famous people are grifters. I mean, throughout history,
yeah.
a good grifter can make a name for themselves.
Yeah, well, I guess they're not good at it.
Oh, well, then
They're not good at
maybe
it.
we should do grifting 101.
You know, I'm thinking, "Hey, Spotify, I'll do it for less."
Do you hear that, Spotify? You want to pick us up? Funny Fridays. We are
Yeah,
hilarious.
we can get people with no
We'll do
voices
it for
on here.
half price, right?
Yeah, or even a
Okay.
quarter. We're flexible.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
flexible.
All right. Well,
This
let's
isn't
start at half price and we'll negotiate from there. Don't
there you
quickly
go.
move down to
Yeah,
a
yeah, well, yeah, don't bid against yourself, all right? Yeah, but yeah, so that and then Netflix dropped them too because they decided that they're boring. They're like they're like "These people are boring." There's really nothing about them. So, the Sussexes are kind of
I
having
didn't
an
know they had a
issue.
Netflix show.
Yeah, they did a big Netflix where they, were trying to show how they were victims.
Uh, yeah, the $1 million victim. That's the name of a new show.
$1 million.
Ooh.
There you go. That would be perfect for her. She could be on there and she could say how she's a $1 million victim. Yeah, it's funny.
Let's write that and then we'll submit it. Maybe we'll get picked up there too. We are full of ideas today. Woo!
I'd be a $1 million victim if I wasn't such a victim.
Oh, cancel, 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 cancel. Let's tap it out, tap it out, tap it out. Come on. Woo!
Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of crazy.
We
I
we are
saw this
just
little blip.
focusing.
I saw this
Focus
little
on
blip.
anticipation of your vacation.
Yeah,
Anticipation.
it's gonna be fun.
Anticipation.
Yeah, it'll be
You're going to
fun.
have a wonderful vacation. We're going to leave those $1 million victims in the dust
Yeah.
because you're going to be the bubble lady. They're going to
I'm
pick
in
you
the
up.
bubble
Oh my
foot.
gosh. Okay. They're going to pick you up. Some news station is going to hear about this lady who is traveling across the country, blowing bubbles into nature and creating these amazing moments.
The next viral video. Who knew?
You
Who
know
knew?
what? It's the bubble challenge, originated by Gwen.
Hey, I want to throw in right before we got on here, I was trying something new. And I guess it's been around for a while, but it got my attention. That was another thing that got my attention recently was baked oatmeal. Have you heard?
Are they like oatmeal cookies?
It, I guess it could be kind of like that. You take your oatmeal and you mix in, whatever flavor stuff. So like this one I made, I did with cinnamon and then you put some like baking powder in it. And in the liquids, your liquids are a couple of eggs, honey or maple syrup, milk, or I did mine with unsweetened almond milk. And what else? I put some almond extract in it.
Yum.
So the most of the flavoring was almond and cinnamon. And then you mix your wet ingredients, you pour it in with the oats, you bake it for 40 minutes, and it's really good. It is really good. It's a little more moist than I think
Do
I
you
was
eat it with like
anticipating.
a fork or a spoon or a
I
knife and a
used I
fork?
used a big spoon,
Okay.
but, it's like if you Google baked oatmeal.
We
So,
love
like, the ones that
Google.
they're showing have, fruit. So, like, they'll line the tray with fruit,
Oh,
and then they put their oats, and then they pour the liquids over it, put some more fruit on top, and then bake it.
oh, okay. That sounds easy enough for me. And
Yeah,
I could use my cinnamon oil. Ooh.
there you go. It was easy peasy, I grabbed one of the I saw it
Easy
on Facebook.
peasy is so my style.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook. Those videos where they show people throw a bunch of ingredients in and bake it. I was like, "Ooh, that looks really good." So I did a quick search, pulled up some recipes, kind of gauged what the recipes had going across. They're all pretty similar in what they are. And so I copied one. And right before we got on here, I baked some
I love those
oatmeal.
things. I've gotten ideas from that. I think that's brilliant. Yeah.
It's good. And
Yeah,
the idea behind thanks, Tamara. Yeah, it
yes.
it was delish. I'll tell you, it is delish. And supposedly, so you refrigerate it, but if you want, you can freeze them, and then you just microwave them when you pull them out of the freezer. So I was, like, thinking this would make for a nice breakfast thing during the week, a quick, healthy breakfast thing, and,
Wonder if you put less liquid, you could actually cut them up like bars.
then I think it's granola. No, that'd be no liquid and you'd have granola. But yeah, maybe a little less would make it less, but you know what?
Well,
I
what
would
is
say
granola except oatmeal with stuff in it?
right, but I think it's,
I don't know. That was a question.
oh, well, well, granola usually is dry ingredients with some kind of binder, which I think is like some kind of sugary thing, right? And then you just bake it, and then it's hard and crunchy.
But like they have granola bars, right? Like you can buy a granola bar.
Yeah, they're usually crunchy
Yeah,
because they're not liquid. This is like breakfast oatmeal, only instead of it being really wet and soupy, like out of a pot,
right.
it's just really moist, oatmeal. Like the
Mm.
oatmeal, um, like if it was rice, okay, you do the oatmeal like it's rice, so it just absorbs all the liquid, so there's no liquid, and it's just really soft and, and the milk and, the eggs are what's holding it together.
You got to stop talking because I've been home by myself, so I've been doing a little cleansing diet as well on top of all the self-care. And now I'm hungry, and this just isn't fair that I'm going to go out and I'm going to have my protein
Granola
powder
bar.
shake with my wellness drink instead
Hey,
of oatmeal with cinnamon oil and yummy
well,
yumminess.
that was the thing I wanted to kinda break up my protein shake because you and I drink the same protein shakes, and, I put my almond extract in there too, and I could probably, I guess, put almond oil in it, but I think that's more of a fatty oil, isn't it? I don't think
Yeah,
there's
yeah. Almond oil is
so
not a, yeah, it's
almond extract, try putting an almond extract into your protein shake.
because I only put enough liquid to make it like pudding. And
Put
then
a
I
little
drink a glass of water after.
or put a little almond extract in it.
I'm going to do that.
It'll take it to a whole new level.
Okay. All right. It is storming here now. How about you?
I've been hearing thunder. Oh, I see some water. I see some water on the lake. There's rain coming down. I can see raindrops on the
Look here.
lake.
Oh, it's already stopped raining here. It came, I saw it raining for 2 seconds. We've been having that where it gets loud and angry and dark and then it just rolls on by. We get like 27 raindrops.
Yeah, we were getting rain there for a while, and then after last Friday when I said how we were getting a lot of rain, we haven't gotten the rain. The 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 clouds are just rolling past us too.
It's okay.
So,
At least it's all good.
it's all good. But I'll have to look into the 4th of July thing
Yeah, and then
because if
tell
it's
me
that park, yeah.
when you're gone. You're gone this week, next week, and the following week.
Yes,
2
I'll be
weeks.
gone for a couple weeks. And for those who are listening, I have scheduled replays of us so that in case you are like, "What am I gonna do with my Friday afternoon if I'm not listening to the girls?" Well, guess what? The replay will be there. And you can
Twice
always
as
visit.
nice.
Yes, and you can always visit our YouTube channel, right, Denise?
That's
Y
right. Absolutely.
So you can go to Spiritual Communities Network YouTube channel, and you can hear us and other people. We've done community classrooms, Spiritual Community Network community classrooms. Those folks are archived there as well, so that's always nice.
You can hit that little play all after you like and it'll just stay on your channel rather than bouncing you off because there's sometimes where I forget to do that and then all of a sudden I'm like listening to something else and I'm like, where did that come from? I was over here going all zen on myself. But if you hit play all, then it will keep you on on the Spiritual Communities Network channel where it's all good things all the time.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a QR code right there next to Denise. You can just point your camera at it, and it'll take you to our website and you can find out all about us. And I am in the process of doing a new website for Spiritual Communities Network. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. It's going to take a little time because it's on a totally different platform. So it's going to have different bells and whistles for people to interact with. And so it should be fun.
Tuning in.
To the
What
bells and
bell?
whistles,
What frequency is the bell?
it's going to be the heart chakra.
I love it. I love it.
I'm going to tune it to the heart chakra.
Ah, mm,
But it should be fun, I think.
it
If
will be.
if we pull it all together, there'll be a community page on there or a community, I don't know, a community stream, if you will, so that people can go there, chit chat with each other. And yeah, got lots of things bouncing around in my brain. I'm sure on my drive as I'm driving down the road, more things will be popping in. I'll have to tell Spirit, hey, you know what? I'm driving here. You're going to have to put this till later when I have pen and paper in hand.
Yes. Save that download.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
So, yeah. Well, after you're done with your cleanse, try out some baked oats.
Well, that might be a good way to break the fast. Oatmeal. That's gentle on the tummy
I think so.
and helps keep things moving.
There you go. That too. That too. Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun recipe from the standpoint that it's kind of like a basic thing. So you can play with it. Like I said, they were using fruit. Another person did chocolate. So, like, you put chocolate powder in it with chocolate chips.
We got to
Uh,
get that one up there. I
there
always love to see you
you
in our
go.
community classrooms. You are such a supportive person. It's just really, good for the heart and the soul. Every time she's just like a smile in a
She has one
human
big
body.
smile. She has
Yeah.
one big smile. She, Miss Tamara has been coming to my Monday night discussion groups. And it's been kind of fun because, you know, and I'm sure you see it too. The When you hold things, when you're holding space, sometimes, you know, it comes together in such a great way. So I've been feeling really blessed because I've had her all to myself the last 2 Mondays. Other people are like, "Oh," they'll send me mess, "Oh, this didn't work out right. Oh, I'm here. Oh, I'm there." They can't make it, right? And it's like, but Tamara comes in and I'm like, I got her all to myself again to sit and chit chat and have wonderful
Oh, that's so
conversation. And
wonderful.
yeah, she's
Yay.
super sweet,
She
super
really
sweet girl.
is. Yay. And that is summer. I mean, that is summer where it's like, whoop, like gonna be gone. But
Yeah, yeah, things slow down during the summer too, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'll have one more discussion group on Monday, and then those will be on hold until I get back as well, so, yeah, good stuff,
it
good stuff.
is. It is.
Whatever you're doing it right, lady, because 'cause you're looking good, looking real good.
I'm doing the layered wellness techniques that I'm going to be putting out. So, got to experiment on myself. Yeah.
You know what? You gotta practice what you preach. There is nothing worse than someone who teaches something and it becomes very apparent that they do they have no idea what they're talking about because 'cause they've never done it. You've never done that, have you? And they're kinda like, "Well, what do you mean?" And it's like, "What do you mean, what do I mean?" It's like, you can't you can't tell somebody to go jump off the cliff if you haven't done it yourself.
Oh, you can't? Oh my gosh. I always make sure there's water on the other side of the jump, because then it's more fun. But I might even occasionally go, boop. Oh, sorry. Go in. The swimming's fine.
Yeah, you go in first and tell me how it is, and then I'll go tell
I
everybody
don't
and
do
then
that.
I'll go tell everybody else.
I don't do it in Florida, man. Oh, that would be the day. Not even in the quarries. Like up north, we had quarries that as a kid you'd go and it'd be
Right.
fabulous. Down here, I'm like, I think there's a gator in there.
I have yet to see one in our lake behind us, you
My
know?
mother lived off 41 and they had a gator every single year. And it must have given birth there because then there'd always be a small one. It'd grow to a certain size. They'd come take it away. And then next year there'd be another
Well,
because they all connect all of those golf courses and canals and
yep,
whatnot. We think, oh, we're in a populated area. Well, whew,
it's like therapy on Monday.
oh, there you go.
It's like therapy. Good therapy, right?
Not painful PT therapy. Ah!
It's not the "I'm gonna fix you" kind of therapy. It's nice. Yeah, what it is, the discussion group on Monday is, a discussion group where, we just chat, whatever comes up in the conversation, we just kinda noodle with it, kinda like we do here with things.
Noodle. Noodle is like doodle, but for the mind.
Yes, noodling.
Got
Get in get in there and yeah.
I've got more of those good one-liners.
Kinda like when we were talking earlier about, how I did the email, did the email talking about, what I expect on my trip, and I won't be swayed by input, and then I got that crazy input that was like, "Oh, yeah? Well, try this one on," and it was like, "Oh, okay, that was a little rockier footing than I."
Don't you just love when you get that immediate feedback though? That's like, "Okay, you think you're gonna do that? Try
You
this."
made that sound so simple, Gwen. Try this one. How's the Canadian countryside on fire gonna fit into that? Well,
Oh.
it'll fit
No,
just
then you can
fine.
just sing, "This girl is on fire, this."
How does Michael how's
I'm thinking, is that why he went away for a few days? Oh, no, just
she's singing again.
I got an appointment over in Fort Lauderdale. I'll be back on,
At least it's not like I'm gonna do a way back thing. Do you remember,
they're just very short
Archie
snippets though,
Bunker? What
because
was
I
it?
only
Archie
know a few
Bunker?
of the words. I'm sorry, I was saying I only know a few of the words, so they're short snippets. It's not like I sing the whole song.
And you don't sound like remember the Bunkers? I'm trying to
Edith?
Archie Bunker. Yeah, at least you don't sound like Edith. I'm trying to remember the name of the show. I can't remember the
Oh,
show.
All in the Family. I
All in the
love that.
Family.
Oh my god. They were groundbreaking. He was groundbreaking on almost all his shows because in
Yeah,
the heat of the
yeah.
night.
He was great in Heat
Yeah,
of the Night.
yeah,
He really was.
love that show.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
All in the Family, they just pulled some clips up from that with the things that are going on, and it's like, wow, he
yeah,
really was cutting edge for his time and stood by it.
yeah. And I'm thankful that you don't sound like Edith when you sing.
Wait, I'm gonna practice that for a voice. I don't
The
even know if I can make myself that nasal.
I don't think anybody can screech as loud as she did.
She was fabulous. She
You
was
would think it would hurt.
multi-talented as well. She really was. She was in some things that just blew me away. She was a very
Yeah,
talented actress. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think
Ah,
it's the magic time for you to get on
it
to
is. It's a
your
magic
next
time.
event.
So long, farewell. I won't see you next week.
Again, we'll be gone for a couple of weeks, but we'll be doing replays. Yeah, That's working out perfect. You keep the music going. Then we don't have to worry about copyright with music, right? You hum along, and I'll do the closing credits. We wanna say goodbye to our favorite fan, Tamara. You have a blessed couple weeks. We'll be back. Hope to see you Monday, and
This is the best excuse for being late that I've had for a long time.
oh my.
I just want you to miss me over the next 2 or 3 weeks. That's all. I love you.
I will miss you. I'll have to visit us on the Spiritual Communities Network YouTube channel and listen to us there, but we'll be doing replays over the next couple Fridays, so you should be okay till we get back. Everybody out there. But Denise, you'll be all right too. You'll
I
be all right.
will. I'm waiting for bubbles.
Yeah, well, we'll see how the bubble thing goes. Now that I've kind of put it out there, now I'm feeling like a little pressure.
No pressure. No pressure because bubbles are a force unto themselves. They will just create joy and happiness. Because when do you not have joy and happiness blowing bubbles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I look forward to next time we get together, you having a directional mic and seeing what that sounds like.
Hello. Oh.
Mics they make a difference. They do have a sound quality that's really nice. Just think, you guys, just think, Denise will have a mic to sing with.
Oh, I bet they are so excited.
I'm excited. So Edith, you have a good one. Take care,
Okay.
sweetie. Love ya.
I love you.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Hugs to y'all.